So we had some news develop over the last 24 hours involving the Chicago Blackhawks, where they have made some moves, some trades, some buyouts, and some other things that we're going to discuss here. First and foremost, let's talk about the trade that happened yesterday. The Chicago Blackhawks acquired forward Andre Burakovsky from the Seattle Kraken in exchange for forward Joe Veleno. So I actually really like this deal for the Blackhawks. I don't think Burakovsky is what he used to be, and just overall in Seattle dealing with the injury problems and honestly everything in between, I think it really kind of prevented him from being what he really could be. And again, you look at Chicago, who does not have that good of a middle six. I think it's an upgrade, in my opinion. I think it's a major upgrade as opposed to, getting somebody else like Joe Veleno, who's not really that big of a role player. And then as for Seattle, we'll discuss their side too. They get Veleno, who has struggled, has not been in NHL, or not lived up to the NHL hype that he had when he was drafted all those years ago. But we'll see how he does with the Kraken. But Burakovsky actually could be a pretty good move on like a second line, maybe third line role. It's not really that high of a risk either. So I do think it's very good. I like it a lot for Chicago for sure. And I think that overall, that's a damn good trade. Another move that the Blackhawks made was they bought out TJ Brodie's contract. Now, Brodie had one more year left at $3.75 million AAV. This time now he will be on pay for the Blackhawks for the next 2 seasons. This coming year he will get paid $3.2333333 million. So in other words, basically $3.23 million. And then the following year in 2026-27, he will get paid $258,333. In other words, $258,300. So again, it's kind of wild to think that Brodie would have been that bad with the Chicago Blackhawks to the point where he would have been bought out. It's kind of wild to think, to be honest with you. So yeah, he just wasn't really fitting in there with Chicago. He hasn't really been fitting in those places in general. But one thing that is interesting is that it frees up some cap space, like about $600,000, and that could be very convenient for the Blackhawks, if they want to make a big splash this offseason. They also have Connor Bedard's contract coming up within the next 2 seasons. So again, you have money that you need to have to sign these players, and I take that with this move, buying out TJ Brodie. Not only are they making room for, younger guys in the lineup who may have not been in spots over Brodie, I feel like there might be something coming here. And I guess we'll find out. Maybe Brodie just wanted to leave Chicago, and the only way that was possible was through a buyout. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below on the moves the Blackhawks made. And then one more piece of news that I think is worth talking about as I scroll through my news feed here. Ryan Donato. This happened a couple of days ago, but we're still going to talk about it. He signed a 4-year, $4 million contract with Chicago. It's good value, honestly. I think that's really good value. I was a little bit worried it was going to get a little bit higher than that. But I guess you got him down to this, a 4x4. I think that's pretty good. And I think it's also a contract, too, that you could move on from and get, trade away for cheap and trade away for some decent assets in maybe a year or two if Chicago wants to move in that direction. But I like this move as well. I think this is a very good signing. Again, I was a little bit skeptical when they didn't trade this guy initially. I was like, I don't know if I like that. But they decided to make that move, and I actually think it's a good idea. So, yeah, that was another signing that we saw as well. I do want to say this as well. Shout out to Jonathan Toews, who is a former Blackhawk, signed a contract with the Winnipeg Jets for this upcoming season. So, kind of cool former Blackhawk news there as well. But anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like it down below and subscribe if you're new. But anyways, that is it for me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.